A model girl injects a strange liquid into her body to maintain her youth, but due to a mistake she turns into a monster. The most horror sci-fi movie released in 2024, The Substance. Let's know from the beginning. The story begins with a man injecting a green liquid into an egg yolk. Almost immediately the egg yolk splits into two. Then show the rise of a star named Elizabeth Sparkle. Elizabeth is a stunning model and the host of a popular show. For a while many people took selfies in front of the star and praised it. But gradually people's attention faded and Elizabeth's popularity declined. Her star began to fade and no one seemed to care. Then we are shown Elizabeth Sparkle, who is now in her 50th year. She is older now but still hosts the same show. After filming she goes to use the washroom, only to find the ladies' washrooms closed. She uses the men's bathrooms instead, where the show's director is on a phone call. He talks about how Elizabeth's ratings have dropped and that he needs a new, young and beautiful host. Hearing this, Elizabeth is heartbroken. She looks in the mirror and sees the wrinkles that remind her of her lost youth. Not only has her beauty faded but now she is being replaced. She confronts the director but he coldly tells her that the show must continue and he cannot help her. Elizabeth leaves the hotel devastated, with the director's words echoing in her mind. Distracted and upset while driving, Elizabeth crashes her car into an oncoming vehicle. Miraculously she survives without a scratch. Though discharged from the hospital, she breaks down again after seeing her own face on a billboard, a painful reminder of aging. A nurse checks her back and hands her a coat, inside which is a hidden message, "It changed my life," along with a flash drive labeled The Substance. Curious, Elizabeth goes home and runs the drive. It reveals information about a magical fluid called the Substance, which can create a young version of an older person. The process is explained along with the fluid. Another serum is required to keep both versions, the old body and the young body, linked. Every 7 days both versions must be activated alternately, and the new young body must receive a daily injection from the old body's spine to remain stable. At first Elizabeth thinks it's a lie and throws the flash drive away. But that night, overwhelmed by despair and longing for her youth, she begins to reconsider. Elizabeth sat at home, staring at pictures of her younger self lost in memories. After some hesitation, she finally sent a message to the mysterious contact and ordering the Substance. The person on the other hand didn't say much, just asked for her address and gave her a secret location along with a number card. The next morning, Elizabeth read the newspaper and saw an ad from her company for a new model to replace her. This made her even more upset. Along with the newspaper, she found a black envelope containing a number written inside. Using the number, Elizabeth reached the secret location, which turned out to be a small locker room inside a house. She accessed her locker and found a box, which she took home. Inside the box were several items: a serum and injection to be used only once, a stabilizer kit to maintain the new body daily, and special food for both the old and young bodies. She also had a kit to switch between her two versions safely. Then Elizabeth, standing in front of the mirror, hesitated for a long time, unsure if she should go through with it. Finally she injected herself with the green fluid, the magical Substance. At first nothing seemed to happen, but soon she felt intense pain. Her eyes seemed to double and her back started to split. From her old body emerged a brand new young version of Elizabeth. The young Elizabeth stared at herself in the mirror in disbelief. She was beautiful, youthful and unrecognizable from her older self. Meanwhile her old body remained behind, connected to a food supply to keep it alive. That night she enjoyed her new version youth, but the next morning her nose began bleeding. She remembered the instructions. To keep her new young body alive, she needed to extract the stabilizing fluid from the old body's backbone and inject it into herself daily. She followed the process and after the injection she felt completely normal and stable. The new version of Elizabeth was even more beautiful than before. Feeling confident, she got ready and went for the audition of the same show from which she had been removed years ago. Everyone at the audition was stunned by her beauty, including the director, who immediately selected her. Elizabeth introduced herself as So. After being selected, So remembered that she had to switch bodies every week. To manage this she made an excuse, saying that her mother was sick and she had to visit her village weekly. The director didn't question it and agreed to her schedule, allowing her to keep her secret. So enjoyed her new job immensely. Her beauty from the new body quickly attracted followers, and her billboards and advertisements soon appeared all over the city. 6 days passed and the 7th day arrived, the day to switch back to her new body. Her old body became active and she carefully transferred the consciousness to her young self. Afterward Elizabeth went to work at her show. The director gave her a gift but also treated her badly. As a result, she comes home and suffers a lot. The next day, while reading the newspaper, Elizabeth received an envelope from the company that provided the substance. The envelope contained a new refill kit. She wore her court shirt, retrieved the kit and prepared to activate her new body again as a full week had passed. To keep her secret safe, So decided to create a hidden room in her house to store Elizabeth's old body. She worked for many hours in making a secret space behind a wall. When neighbors came by to check on the noise, So calmly told them she lived nearby and could help if needed, while she secretly continuing her work. Now that So had fully taken Elizabeth's place, she was ready to embrace fame and live her new life as a beautiful young star, keeping her old self safely hidden away. So had hidden all the photos of Elizabeth's youth to keep her secret safe. She was enjoying her new body so much that she forgot it was the day to switch back. Meanwhile, Elizabeth's old body was running out of the special substance it needed to survive. So brought a friend home and got busy with her work. Suddenly, she felt blood coming from her nose and noticed a strange sensation in her body. She realized it was time to shift back to her old body, but greed got the better of her. Instead of switching, she decided to stay in her young body a little longer. She removed all the substance from Elizabeth's body and injected it into herself, feeling temporarily better. What happened to the old body would only be revealed later. So spent another 7 days like this. When she finally returned to Elizabeth's body, she noticed that one of her fingers had melted. Her carelessness in delaying the switch had caused this damage. Panicked, she called the company for advice. They told her there was no solution, the damage was permanent. The company also warned her that she was still one person. Her new body had emerged from the old one, so she had to be extremely careful. After receiving her new refill kit, Elizabeth went to a restaurant, where she noticed an old man behaving strangely. He had the same mark on his hand that she had seen in the hospital on a nurse's hand. This man was the old version of that nurse. He asked Elizabeth, "Has your new body started harming you?" Alarmed, she quickly ran away. Back at home, Elizabeth wanted to enjoy her old body too. She called a friend over dressed beautifully, and did her makeup just like in her young body. But when she saw posters of So outside, all her confidence vanished. Frustrated and depressed, she messed up her makeup, ruined her hair, overate and eventually went to sleep. The next day, Elizabeth switched back to her young body for her show. During filming, she noticed a strange lump in her lower belly. Panicked, she left the dance and went to the washroom. Upon inspecting it, she discovered it was a chicken she had eaten the previous night. Shocked and scared, her eyes widened as she realized the consequences of her careless actions. But it had all been a dream. In the morning, Elizabeth switched back to her young body and went to her show. But when she arrived, she was shocked to see everyone packing up their camera. The staff told her that the show was ending and would no longer continue. Elizabeth panicked and went to the director. But the director quickly turned her worry into happiness. He explained that she would no longer host the ordinary show. Instead, she would host the New York's Eve special. Hearing this, Elizabeth was overjoyed and immediately agreed, without thinking that New York's Eve was the day she needed to switch back to her old body. She decided to stay in her young body regardless. For several days, Elizabeth continued in her young body. To keep it active, she kept extracting the stabilizer serum from her old body and injecting it into her new body. Over time, this took a toll on her old body, leaving she very weak and aged. Seeing the damage, Elizabeth grew frustrated and began destroying all reminders of her younger self, including photos and mirrors showing images of her alter ego. Worried, Elizabeth contacted the company and asked if there was any way to restore her old body to its previous condition. The company told her that nothing could be done, the past could not be changed. They added that if she wanted, she could stop using the serum and live out her all life in her old body. But Elizabeth refused to give up. She then received a call from So and switched back into her young body. She continued taking the stabilizer serum from her old body, enjoying her life in the young version for 3 months. However, just one night before New York's Eve, she ran out of the serum while at a boy's house. Suddenly, she felt her body's organs straining and realized she needed to extract the serum from her old body, but it didn't work. Panicked, she called the company for help. They explained that she had used up all the serum and now had to wait for a new serum. Until then, she stay these condition and deal with the consequences. Elizabeth felt terrible after the call. She quickly switched back to her old body. The boy nearby had heard strange noises and came to investigate, but Elizabeth locked the bathroom just in time, hiding her horrifying form. She was very old, bald and struggling to walk. Worried and desperate, Elizabeth called the company and said she wanted to stop everything, The company agreed and told her to get the termination fluid. Her old body looked terrible, but with great effort she managed to hide it under her clothes. She took the termination substance and was about to apply it to her young body. Then she remembered the company's warning. If she used the termination fluid, the body she was currently in would remain permanently the same. Thinking about this, she decided not to inject the full serum. Looking at herself in the mirror, Elizabeth felt anger towards So. She had only injected half the serum into her young body, remembering that she had a major show to host and an award to receive in the coming days. She wanted the fame, the praise and the admiration that she had always longed for. Driven by this greed, she continued her plan. So did not inject half the serum. She tried to wake her new body, but So remained unconscious. Thinking of switching bodies, she used the activator from Elizabeth's backbone. The activator worked, and So woke up, but as soon as she realized Elizabeth was about to terminate her, she became furious. In her anger, So attacked Elizabeth, hitting her repeatedly until Elizabeth's head was crushed. Elizabeth died in the fight. After killing Elizabeth, So realized she had gone too far. Now she no longer had access to the activator serum. Determined to continue, So cleaned everything up and went to host the New York show. The crowd welcomed her enthusiastically and she initially felt great. But soon she began feeling strange. Blood started flowing from her nose, and when she touched her mouth, 2 of her teeth fell out. She realized that because the real Elizabeth had died, her body was becoming unstable. To survive, she needed to apply the activation serum. She rushed home, but in the elevator one of her nails and an ear fell off. Panicking, she tried to act normal when someone entered the lift. In the home she applied the activation serum, but it had no effect. Then she remembered she had 2 special substances meant for one-time use. Without hesitation she injected one of them. Pain tore through her body. From her waist emerged a new form, a hybrid of So and Elizabeth, a strange and terrifying creature. So's mind was in chaos. She didn't even fully understand what she had become or whether she could face the world. Finally she covered her hybrid face with a picture of So and went on stage to perform, hiding her true form from everyone. As soon as she reached the microphone on stage, the photo covering her face fell. Everyone saw her terrifying hybrid face, which looked extremely creepy. The crowd panicked, screaming and running away, calling her a monster. In the chaos, a man with a baseball bat struck her face. Her face was smashed and blood poured from her body and it spread across the studio floor. Everyone fled in fear. Elizabeth's body began breaking apart into strange, insect-like pieces, as if her whole form was disintegrating. Her face, lying on the floor and looking at the ceiling, strangely seemed to smile. And this is where the movie ends. If you liked the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel.